Watching Survivor feels like watching Death Note on an island. And I know that sounds really kind of crazy, but let me explain what I mean because there's actually a lot of similarities. So I've been watching season 50 with my friend, and it's been a really long time since I've seen Survivor. I've since gotten into anime, and within the first few episodes of the season, I started noticing some parallels into how these two shows, even though tonally and plot-wise they have really nothing to do with each other, they have similar story structures in how they convey information and new plot elements. Namely, Survivor, you'll see the contestants on the island sharing information, making plans, especially ahead of tribal council. They'll say something like, here's the information that I have, here's what happened at this other event that you weren't at, and here's what I'm wanting to do for voting or for alliances. And it'll cut to one-on-one kind of confessional interviews, and they'll say, actually, I lied, or I have this other goal in mind, and I'm just telling them this to get them to believe me or to act a certain way. But then also the other person will say, I know they're lying to me, or I think they're actually doing this. Like, all of the contestants are doing a good job seeing through each other's true motivations. And it reminds me of the way that Light and Elle interact with each other. And I think it's really interesting because they will also have conversations where they're implying certain things or stating certain things outright to prove things. But then in their internal monologues that only we, the audience, get to hear, they will say, oh, like they said this or did this because they think this. So now I have to change what I'm doing or saying to get them to believe this other thing that I want them to believe. And so they're constantly kind of going around in circles, influencing each other's behavior in order to get their own goals to move forward. And Survivor and Death Note also have these similarities because they have to work together in certain situations, but then at the end of the day, it's every man for himself. Because Survivor, you're trying to win $1 million, but you also have to work together as a tribe and as alliances. And in Death Note, obviously, only one of these guys can prevail because Elle is trying to find the person who is using the Death Note to kill people, which is Light. You also have more fun coincidences in both of the shows that are very similar. For example, maybe the most obvious being that you have to write somebody's name down on a very specific piece of paper in order to get them out. There are also items that are involved in the narratives that have specific rules or powers that are sometimes only known by specific people. You also have perhaps my favorite connection of one guy kind of being above it all, but still also having a vested interest in what's going on and specific knowledge. But making fire from glasses is very Dr. Stone.